everybody. My name is Tajamul Islam and I am an assistant professor of marketing at Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies. In this video, I am going to briefly explain the concept of self and its impact on consumer behavior. There are a number of psychological factors that affect the behavior of consumers. In fact, the subject of consumer behavior takes a lot of inputs from the field of psychology. Among all the personality concepts that have been applied to marketing, self-concept probably provides the greatest promise of application to the needs of business firms. Before understanding the role of self-concept in marketing and consumer behavior, let's first try to define the concept of self. Self-concept is the person's ideas and feelings about himself or herself. Solomon defined self-concept as the beliefs a person holds about his or her own attributes and how he or she evaluates the self on these qualities. It's an idea we have about who we are physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, or in terms of any other aspect that makes up who we are. In simple language, self-concept tries to answer the basic question, who am I? Now, self-concept can be both positive as well as negative. For example, a man perceives himself as an important member of his community, or a woman sees herself as an excellent spouse and friend. These are examples of positive self-concept. It can be negative as well. For example, when a person perceives himself or herself as expendable and a burden on his community, or a woman sees herself as a terrible spouse and friend, these are examples of negative self-concept. Now let's try to understand the role of self-concept in consumer behavior. Consumers do not buy products just for their functional value, but also for the symbolic value and what it means to them. For example, when we are buying a car, we are not buying the car just for the functional value of transportation. Or when we are buying a watch, we are not buying a watch just for its functional value of telling us the time. We are also buying these products to represent us, to say something about us, to communicate something about us. Many purchases that are made by consumers are directly influenced by the image individuals have of themselves. Past research has consistently reinforced this view. For instance, a man who thinks of himself as tech-savvy will probably buy newer gadgets using modern technology. Similarly, the lady who thinks of herself as fashion-conscious will choose clothes and accessories that are novel or new to the market. Consumers buy certain products to enhance their self-concept. For example, when we are buying a luxury car or an accessory, we are trying to enhance our self-concept. Or we are trying to maintain our self-concept. For example, when we are buying products which help us to fit in with everyone, or because everyone else has it. Or sometimes we want to hide some aspects of ourselves. For example, when we are buying a deodorant. A useful way of looking at self-concept is by using two overarching perspectives, namely actual self and ideal self. Actual self is how consumers in fact see themselves. It is more or less a realistic appraisal of attributes we possess or do not possess. On the other hand, ideal self means how consumers would like to see themselves. It is that model person we aspire to become. As consumers, we choose products which are consistent with our actual self, or we consume other products which help us to achieve our ideal selves. The ideal self predicts attempts at upward mobility. For example, purchase of training courses, self-improvement classes, or cosmetic surgery. Here is an interesting research finding which says that when brands market themselves to match their target consumers' actual selves rather than their ideal selves, consumers become more attached to the brand. I would end this video with a statement of reflection. If you take a look at your possessions, especially the ones which you hold dear, you may realize that the products and the brands you decide to choose and not to choose are a good reflection of who you are. Thank you.